What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Cleats Up Mics Out podcast with my guest, Gunnar Lucuk from Southbury, Connecticut, and my current collegiate teammate.
So I'm Gunnar. I'm from Southbury, Connecticut. I have my own page that I'm starting out during winter break. It's called Gunning for Success. I'm going to just be posting a lot of videos and start offering coaching, and most importantly, affordable coaching, and really just try to grow it from there. So shout out to that page, at Gunning for Success on Instagram.
Yep. Follow that. He is a great guy and a great goalkeeper. So let's talk about the collegiate recruiting process. So I'd love to hear your story.
All right. So recruiting for me was definitely all over the place. Honestly, I feel like recruiting kind of start for me, like I was thinking really hard about college soccer in 8th grade, freshman year of high school. I always wanted to do college soccer, and like it got real in 8th grade and freshman year because that's when I was like, I could do this. Like I had coaches telling me all the time, like, you could do this. And then as the years went on, I got more and more interest from schools until I ended up getting recruited by a prep school. And from that, I was really thinking about going to a Division I school, was going to all the ID camps, had coaches going to my games, emails, a lot of work. And I did not think that money was going to be as big as an issue as it was.
Yeah.
Because after I started really talking to like these D1 coaches that wanted me, they're like, we only have 18 scholarships to give out. Like those are only like half price to some of these like really expensive schools.
Yep.
So it really was like, dang, like I could play. I'm probably gonna have to go Division III or to like a lower level school because like that money is just not available. They're also looking at international kids, and it's just so much more competitive, I feel like, for soccer than a lot of other sports because you're competing against guys that are literally from another country, grown men that have been playing in academies. And while I'm just a small town white boy from Connecticut. So I ended up here at Gordon, and that all started because in my senior year, I was like, I really haven't found a school where it was like it just felt like a click. Like all the other schools, it felt like the same story. All the other schools that were like interested in me, it was basically like I'd be hoping to play maybe like my junior year.
Yeah.
Not extreme, not like a definite like, oh, like we want you to be our main guy. Like there was some schools that say that, and then they'd end up like ghosting me or just losing interest until.
For sure. So
late in my senior year for the fall season, my dad actually was like, okay, Gunnar, like I'm just gonna email a bunch of schools in New England that maybe we never heard of, but like we just gotta find a school that would be a fit for me because it was something that I haven't found like with the schools that were interested in me, and that was my dad ended up writing to Coach Horth. And then Coach Horth responds right away like, oh, we're only going to have one keeper for next year. Yeah. And it ended up being a perfect fit. Went on my visit, loved the guys, and especially I just loved just Coach Horth and like the values of our program. And that was the thing that really brought me here because I was like, I'm not just going to be playing soccer here. Like I'm going to be like growing so much as a person off the field because I'm going to be surrounding myself with guys like you, guys like literally everybody we just saw at the banquet, all people that really helped me grow, and I've grown a lot this year, just like I thought I was. So that's how I kind of got to Gordon.
Nice.
How about you?
So I was never in like a club or anything. I was at a public high school, so not a lot of recruiting.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of scouts coming out to games. A lot of the reaching out was done on my own. I played a couple months actually. I played on a club team for a couple months, but only my senior year, like the spring of my senior year.
So super late in the process.
Late. Yeah. So, at like March, at that time, I had like 3 offers.
Nice.
A couple D3 and a D2.
Mhm.
But the D2 was like, you're not going to play till your junior year, like you said.
Yeah.
So I'm like, would I like to go to a D2 school and have the attention of being in a D2 program? Sure. But
Yeah.
it's like I want to play or like have a chance of playing at some point.
Yeah.
So I didn't, and academically I didn't like the school either, so that was already off the list. Coach was nice about it. He was a really good guy, but he understood for sure.
Yeah.
Other two were Division III programs we actually play.
Oh, nice.
Or I've played. We play one of them, but the
Okay.
other one's at a conference. And one of them, their goalie coach came out to like multiple games.
Oh,
for
okay. Wow.
Like in my spring season. So I'm like, okay, well, he's interested, and I assume there was a spot for
Mhm.
me. But then I messaged him one day because it was between them and the other program I'll talk about, and he's like, well, we already recruited, or we don't have any spots
Mhm.
on the team, and even if you were to come here and try out, we probably couldn't offer you a spot. So I'm like, okay, well, thanks for that. Could have told me a little earlier, but took it on the chin. I was a little frustrated because I just was like, you just wasted my time. I could have already committed to the other school.
Yeah.
But didn't happen that way. So and then the other school was where my parents actually met. So it was like, had that family tie.
Yeah.
Which I thought would have been pretty cool. Coach was a nice guy, buttered me up everything.
Yep.
He came out to one of my games, and he actually a couple of the players at the time came out as well. So
Oh,
I'm like,
that's
That was
awesome.
pretty cool. I was like, that was pretty cool. They actually care about their recruiting. So I'm like, I actually might think about going here.
Mhm.
And then I, same day, messaged that coach. And he said they had a keeper commit 2 days before.
Wow.
Didn't say anything, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, well, I just went from 3 offers to none.
Yeah.
And then early April came around, and I'm like, okay, well, I got nothing. Reached out to Coach Horth through NCSA, which is a very highly respected recruiting
Yeah.
page.
Definitely.
Yeah, resource. And I reached out to him through there, and he's like, so he's asked me to send him film, and then I didn't know it at the time, but he had like a scout come out, and it was a former assistant coach, I realized.
Okay.
Doesn't coach here anymore, but he came out to one of my games. I had a terrible game. We lost 4-0, but we played any surf. They're like elite club.
Yeah.
So they were like
Very good
6
team.
out of the guys at least probably were Division 1 or could have gone Division 1.
Mhm.
We got ran. I didn't play very well, but then it was between me and this other keeper, and called me after the scout, like he heard back from the scout, and he was like, you got the spot, and I was like, that's awesome.
There you
So
go.
I called my parents right after I hung up, and he's like, and my mom said, like, take the spot,
Yeah.
like say you want it. So I literally called him right back, and I'm like, actually, coach, I want the spot. And then told him that I probably wasn't gonna play my freshman year last year because we had a senior that was all region, would eventually be all region.
Yeah.
He was insane. So just kind of learn and grow from him, and then play as you're needed, which I played once. It was actually against the that last team I talked about.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we won 6-0.
Oh, wow.
Which was awesome. So I saw the coach after, and I was like, and he said, nice to see you. I'm like, coach, it is awesome to see you as well. And that was the only game I started
Yeah.
because the senior got close contact.
Okay.
So that was the only game I got the chance of starting, which was awesome, honestly. That's my one game I started, and then said it's your spot to lose after that, which we both kind of know how that went.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Awesome. So, I think something I want to talk about was I feel like something that no one really thinks about is the transition from high school to college, because I feel like so much time is spent like, oh, where am I going to go?
Yeah.
What school is going to recruit me? Which school am I going to email? And then you get there and you're like, oh, like I'm in college now.
Yeah,
like this is different.
Yeah.
So I was wondering about your experience with your transition.
Yeah. So I think in high school, I had very good like discipline with homework. It was just like go to school, like before COVID.
Yeah.
I think COVID actually messed us up a lot. Was school, come home after practice,
Yeah.
do homework, and then have dinner and chill out for the rest of the night.
Mm-hmm.
But then I realized this not too long ago, but when COVID hit, it killed my like discipline for doing homework. Because like I would just sit and just play video games all the time.
Yeah.
You know, play soccer every now and then when I could.
Also, you didn't really even have to do school because like
Yeah.
it was on Zoom.
Yeah. No. Exactly.
And it was all pass
All
fail.
on Zoom, I
So
know.
the teachers didn't really care, and like when the
Yeah.
teachers don't really care,
Yeah.
when you know they don't want to be on that Zoom call either, it's like
Yeah.
just showing the kids like
Right.
they don't need to be there either.
Yeah.
So.
Like I never used to play video games during the week because I'm like
Mhm.
I'll just play during the weekends and just have fun.
Yeah.
But then I started to get into a bad habit of like playing during the week, like instead
Yeah.
of doing homework.
Or even playing during class.
During class. No, that's exactly where I was going to go with that.
Yeah.
Like playing during class, not paying attention. But you could squeak by because it was a pass-fail.
Yeah.
So that was bad. My whole senior year was COVID, so that kind of sucked a little bit.
Mm.
But yeah, and then I say that because coming in, you don't realize like how much you actually have to do your homework.
Yeah.
And stuff. Like teachers are not going to say like this assignment is due in next class. They're not even gonna say
it.
it.
It's just gonna be there.
It's going to be on the syllabus.
Yep.
And then listed out as like on assignments, hopefully.
Yeah.
Sometimes not even that if you have a bad professor, but
Mhm.
yeah, you just have to stay on top of your work and
Mhm.
manage your time. I think for me, time management was something I still really struggle with, but it was really bad last year.
Yeah.
Like I would finish classes, finish practice again, and then go back and just lay in bed, not do homework.
Mhm. Yeah.
Because I'm like, especially after the season, I was like, I have so much time to do this because my classes end at like 3. I could just do it at like 7,
Yeah.
for example. But then 7 came around, I'm like, I'm so tired, and I didn't do it.
Mhm.
So I think just having that, like I keep saying discipline, but I think that's the only way to say it.
Yeah.
To get your homework done
Mhm.
was a big wake-up call for me because I failed 2 classes.
Mhm.
Like I failed 1 last fall, I failed 1 last spring.
Yeah.
So I think just not managing my time efficiently kind of screwed me over for the classes I failed.
Mhm.
So, yeah. What about you?
For
As a
me,
freshman so far?
I feel like
Like a
school
semester
for like to do with
or-
school. I feel like it's more about, for me, it's definitely been more about like, like I feel like I've had the discipline. Like I've been able to do all
Yeah.
my assignments on time. It's just like those big tests. It's like knowing
know.
where to study and then what to study. Because like I could study like 10 hours for exam and get I could fail it. I bet.
I know.
If
No,
I'm
I-
not looking in the right
I
place.
understand
And
that.
then if I could also spend like an hour studying for exam and get an A on it
I know.
because
It's
like
so weird.
I looked at the right study material and found the right people to study with. So like that's probably like the only thing for me academically. But like soccer wise for me, like
Oh, yeah.
my transition was literally like that. Like I remember not like I was before the season, I was in a place where I was like, I don't even know if I want to play soccer anymore. And then I just got out of shape. I was working at McDonald's every night, eating like crap, and I really did not want to play soccer for a while. And then in July, I coached a camp here at school, and being like around the little kids, I was like, yeah, I love soccer.
Yeah.
And then in July, like I really worked hard to get semi shape, and then like the fitness tests came for preseason and all that, and like I was like last place for everything, I was like, I remember just feeling like not bad about it because like the fact that I was like playing, I was like I was in a place where I wanted to quit a couple months ago.
Yeah.
Now I'm able to just take the test with the team, and then like just having that positive attitude leading to like me getting my first start the third game of the season and making that penalty save. It was like I like knew I was like I'm a great player, but like I'm not at the best of my ability.
Yeah.
But like I just got to do like what I've been like I just got to be able to play with everything that's been given to me. Like I know I'm a little out of shape, and I definitely was not in like the best like headspace during the season or like just going into the season, but like it definitely forced me like literally like that to be like I need to like step up and like become the person I want to become and like take like the problems I had going on head on, because I needed to be dependable, especially as like a starting goalie, because if I'm not dependable to the guys that are in front of me, then like
they're not gonna trust you.
Yeah, they're not gonna trust me. There's gonna be no confidence in the team.
Yeah.
So like it forced me to become dependable, and it forced me to like really just like move on from a lot of stuff I had, well, a lot of the stuff I was dealing with. And honestly, like it's just crazy thinking about like during the season, like how literally every like the build up to every game, it was like, okay, like I cannot wait to play this team. Like how are we gonna play these guys? Like it's just crazy how like it went by like in 2 months. It's 2 months, and then it literally felt like forever.
Yeah.
Because we got out of the season and now we're going right home.
I know.
So like
I know.
For me, like the transition from high school to college, I'd say I was playing some very good players in my high school league.
Yeah.
A lot of guys, like each team, like their striker was a Division I commit and like did this and that. So like I had to get I was already playing like some very like good younger players, and like I was looking at some Division I schools. So like I feel like it was less of like a transition for me. It was more like just a shift in like attitude and like just becoming more disciplined and like just being reliable to like the rest of the team and like playing with grown men too. Like Division III is definitely, I'd say, it's not as like low as people think it is. Like especially here in New England, like you're playing some very talented teams. There's a lot of guys that choose D3 over D1 for like some financial reasons or this and that. Like there's definitely multiple guys on our team that have those reasons. So like it's still very high level and like
I agree, for sure.
Definitely very physical. But the fact that I was able to play some like higher level players as a high schooler, I feel like helped me tremendously, because it was way less scary like after a game or two in college, because like after my first game or two I was like, dude, I literally my first save was a penalty save. Like I'm already shutting out all these guys. I'm like everybody, like there's no one you need to be scared of. And once you realize that, I feel like it just takes you to the next level.
Yeah, I didn't even touch on my my athletic transition. Coming in, my ability was like nowhere near where like a starter or even like guy that should see the field was. Not saying I'm perfect, because I'm definitely not. But I came in working with the senior from last year, learning from him and just watching him. Like he made every save look pretty effortless. And he wasn't a big guy either. He was like 5'10".
Yeah.
So he was very athletic. He was a big dude as well. Watching him kick the ball as well, he could kick it a mile. So just learning from him, trying to pick stuff off of him as well. And I always say when I talk about like my development last year, within those 3 months, give or take, I developed like more exponentially than I did from every year before that playing. Yeah. From like 10 to 18.
And then like another thing, it's like even off the field, like I'm learning so much from my teammates. Like I don't know if any of them were watching, but like I remember like literally this whole year, like Evan and Dayton and Cougs, those are definitely 3 guys where it's like they've taught me so much mentally. Where like I go to the gym like whenever with
Yeah.
Evan, like we do the same workout program, and like just being around a guy like him, like who has so much discipline and structure in his life, and like watching him like eat in the dining hall, like all this healthy stuff, it's like, dang,
He
like
leads by example.
yeah, he leads by example.
Yeah.
And then I have a guy like Dayton who's like, he'll just like, he's so calm and composed,
Always.
and he just
I don't understand how
makes
he does
everybody
it. I
feel
don't understand how he
comfortable.
does it, to be honest with you.
yeah,
Crazy.
he like makes everybody feel comfortable, and it kind of like shows me like to add like more composure in my life. And then like a guy like Hoogs, who's like our senior captain, just to have a guy like him who genuinely, I feel like he genuinely cares about everybody on the team, like individually, and having a guy like that I just know has my back, especially not just him, but like everyone else. It just really, I feel like, makes your growth as a person so much easier than if you went to college without a team or anything like that.
Brothers, yeah.
Because there's so many people where it's like, oh, I haven't really fit in yet in college. I need to find somewhere else. While I'm literally instantly gifted like 25 brothers
No, I know.
on the team.
That's awesome.
hmm
I feel that.
All right, so do you want to move into some of the NIL stuff? Because I know,
Yeah. Let's talk about that.
yeah.
Yeah, so I was always, since hearing about it, it was last summer.
hmm
Yeah, I think it was June. They passed NIL laws, name, image, and likeness laws, where student athletes can make money off their name, image, and likeness.
Yeah.
So like followers on Instagram, your, social media outlook,
Yeah.
like how famous you are, I guess. You could get sponsorships and endorsements from that. So I jumped at that
Mhm.
as much as I could. I reached out to so many different companies. Well, the first one I got was Liquid IV,
Yeah.
which is like a drink supplement, like packet,
Yeah.
electrolytes. They were cool. I mean, not really any benefits from doing that. To be
But like
honest.
just the fact that you're getting paid, basically just
Yeah,
to
yeah,
be
yeah.
like doing what you love.
Well, the
You
thing
know?
is with that, the reason I ended that is because I realized I wasn't getting paid.
Uh,
Like their like form of endorsement and like payout
Mhm.
was product.
okay.
So like you would make like a couple posts.
And they'd give
uh,
you like some merch or something, or
No,
like,
they would give you
product?
like the actual they would give you like the actual like
Okay.
electrolyte
Yeah.
things, which
Which is cool,
Which
but
is
it's
cool.
like you want to like
I want to try to get some money.
yeah,
You know?
actual money. Yeah.
And then
Curex,
I'll-
right?
yeah, I'll get on that for sure. But yeah, definitely got a lot of like no responses
Mhm.
from like I would DM companies and stuff like that. They would either say like they either wouldn't respond or they would say we're not looking to do this right now. This is just, we just don't have an opportunity like that. And I'm like, okay, well, can't force you to do anything.
Yeah.
So, and then Curex, which is my bigger sponsor,
Yeah.
is an insole company, and they have a bunch of different like customizable insoles for like any sports. Like they have cleats, they have hiking, they have skiing, they have like work, just like everyday ones as well. And the way I found out about that was I went into a soccer store in Foxborough,
Mhm.
near Gillette, called We Got Soccer, and I was looking for cleats. I needed a new pair of cleats. They didn't have anything, and I just like was looking around. Well, the lady that was helping me was looking for more pairs,
Mhm.
like at my size. They, couldn't find anything, but I was looking around. I saw the insoles, because like I had a pair of insoles before, like because my feet, like the middle of my foot would always like cramp up
Mhm.
for like if I ran too much, and the ones I had didn't like help it really. And then I just say like I saw them and she saw me looking at them, and I was like, yeah, my foot just like cramps and hurts when I run too much. And she said, yeah. Well, she's like, yeah, these are pretty good insoles. So I got like measured. They have like a measurement board where you
Yeah.
put your foot on it. It's like heat activated, so you see your foot, and
Mhm.
then based on that you pick like your arch, whatever your arch is, high, medium, low, and then your like cleat size or like whatever the range would fall in. And then your knee alignment, I don't know exactly what that has to do with it, but
Yeah.
your knee alignment. so I got mine, and then I reached out to them, and back and forth. Eventually, like, was gonna get into a sponsorship, but we actually kind of delayed it for like a while.
Yeah.
Because this was probably a few months actually. Senior year as well.
Senior year of high school?
Yeah.
Dang.
Like end of the year. So like I think it was after I signed with Gordon.
Okay.
And then so I got sponsored.
Mm-hmm.
Or like that's what happened. I wore them for the season, and then after, like the summer after, that's what it was. I reached out to Nick, who's the like lead for the everything soccer, and I was like, if I get my like my college team to sign, like, would that do anything for me? Like, would that make money?
Mm-hmm.
And then he sent me like the contract to like actually sign and everything,
that's cool.
which was sick. All the different ways to like for the payouts, and then like clubs or college or like any teams, you would get like 10%.
Oh, that's
of
cool.
like how much they make, like how much pay
They
for.
spent. Okay.
Yeah. So up front, I got a good amount. I don't know if I can disclose it or like talk about it, but yeah, up front I got a good amount, and then I'll get a little bit more at the end of the year.
Okay.
But what I have to do for that is just like post once a month, like the insole, and then like they have different tags and like people you have to add.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. And then, so that's the insole one. And
Yeah.
then the only other one I have like active right now is a glove brand, goalie glove brand. Set GK.
Yeah.
I think there's a sticker right here. Follow them on Instagram.
There you go.
And then, yeah. So I don't remember how I found out about them. I'm trying to think. If I remember correctly, last year we played Montclair State.
Mm-hmm.
Very good Division III program, and their keeper, who I actually knew, not from Montclair State. I went to a UConn camp.
Oh, and he was
when
there?
I was a sophomore, and he was a player there. Like, he was a keeper there.
At UConn?
Yeah, but he transferred.
Oh, okay.
So I don't remember what year he was at that point, but I think he was a junior at that point, probably.
Yeah.
Sophomore, junior. And then, yeah, so I knew it was him because I followed him. I like found him at some point, followed him on Instagram. And we talked it up a little bit because I realized that like he was on the team. We were playing them in the NCAA's tournament last year. Went back and forth, just like kind of told me like why he transferred. He said he was like, I got a couple opportunities, didn't make the most out of them, sadly, and then was like had to leave. And he's from New Jersey, so it just makes sense to be home. So after the game they won, which kind of sucked.
Yeah.
But they had an at-large bid. They were really good. We just kind of said hi to each other after. But he had this glove brand. And then again saw him with it on Instagram. So I reached out to them, and they were like, "Yeah, sure, just fill out this form. Couple like little tidbits like your name, where you're from, a fun fact, and then what like model of gloves, and then that's just kind of how I got sponsored from them. So I have a link for that
in your bio.
The link tree in my bio.
Alright.
And then you also get like 50% off for the gloves, which is nice. So like $50 a pair is really nice. Because gloves can get pretty expensive.
Yeah.
If you buy multiple.
Really expensive. Like, crazy thing about how like probably the gloves that like pro keepers use is like multi-$100 gloves per game, which is so crazy.
I would say
to think about.
minimum $150.
Yeah, minimum. Like absolute minimum.
Yeah,
those are practice gloves.
I know, right?
Yeah. So, do you want to talk about, since we were talking about like the transfer portal with that UConn guy, do you want to talk about your own experience?
Yeah. So, I was thinking about it a lot last semester.
Yeah.
Just again didn't feel like I was a good fit here, but
It was definitely stuff to do outside of soccer, right?
Yeah, definitely stuff to do with outside of soccer. The only reason I stayed is because of soccer.
Yeah.
Because I didn't even get a chance of starting.
So you wanted to see what was going to happen.
Yeah, I want to see what this fall was gonna like. Yeah, I want to see what was gonna happen this fall.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, you know what? I'll give it one more semester because last spring it would have been very impulsive. Like looking back on it, would have been very impulsive.
Yeah, because you needed to give more time to see if it was the right place.
Yeah, I was just like mentally like literally like all over the place.
And it's like the fact that like you still felt like the school wasn't the right place for you after your first semester sophomore year. It's like, okay,
like it makes sense.
Yeah.
Round 2, like wasn't the first time I thought about it.
Yeah. So do you have like, so you're doing community college next semester and you're looking to play?
Yeah. So I'm doing community college spring and summer semesters as like a stepping stone.
There you go.
Hopefully get my GPA up, and then if an opportunity for soccer arises, then definitely take that.
If it doesn't,
then academically I'll be going to one of those schools, and then I'll find like a good fall league to play in.
Yeah. So like for the transfer portal, have you been like reaching out to coaches or?
So the way it works is like you get put in a database. Coaches can see your name and I don't know every piece of information, but I'm guessing like name and current school.
Are you able to put like your highlight tape and stuff?
No,
like
so
that?
you don't put anything. It's not like NCSA where like you put the information.
So it's like, literally just
you. Like, I think it should literally just like your name. It's probably like your name, your graduation year.
Okay.
And then your school.
So you're doing all the work yourself, I'm guessing.
Yeah, that's it. So when I first got put in, like, it wasn't very long after. It was probably like a couple hours after.
Yeah.
Like a coach reached out to me.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I've had 5 at this point. I've had 5 coaches I think it was either 4 or 5 reach out to me at this point.
Yeah.
None of the opportunities at those schools I want to take, to be honest.
What levels were they?
They're all Division 3.
Okay.
Yeah, all Division 3. If I'm gonna be honest, it's because like they're religiously affiliated.
Okay.
So it's like.
You already are at a
Yeah.
You're already.
That's the only reason they reached out is if I had to guess that.
So like, all 5 of those are religiously affiliated.
Yeah.
Dang.
I know.
That's so weird.
Yeah. I think it's because like I'm at a religiously affiliated school.
Yeah, so they're probably like, oh,
like,
this kid is someone we could just bang. He's part of our program.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm like, so I talk to all of them. Their opportunities, maybe.
Yeah.
But it's like.
It's still a process that.
It's still a process.
Is very unfinished.
Yeah. Definitely.
Do you want to talk about the season a little bit?
Yeah.
Any highs and lows?
Yeah. I think for me, a big low was last spring before the season even started, knowing that I was going to miss practice 3 times a week. I talked with Coach about it, and he said wouldn't hinder my playing time as long as I was getting touches on the ball every day, doing what I had to do, and working with Cal, or one of our assistant coaches. And doing that like earlier in the morning, so like when we go to chapel, do that like right after that. But when Cal got here, kind of said like I'm too busy right now.
Yeah.
Can't do it. So I just like didn't follow up with that because I'm like, is he really gonna have time for it?
Yeah.
So I probably should have followed up with him at least one more time. But that was also earlier in the year when I had a class like super like not super early, like at 9 a.m.
Yeah.
So my time was just like.
So, yeah, and you ended up just doing it after our practice, right?
Yeah. So what I did was coming with like not even 5 minutes left of normal practice time.
Yeah.
Like when coach would end it. Maybe getting in for some shots.
Yeah.
If that was possible, but if not, working with the goalie coach.
Which was just hard in season where you're missing practice.
I know.
In the main part of our season, so it's like.
I think it was harder not because I missed touches in game, like in game realistic
It was more
scenarios.
just practice getting your reps in.
Yeah, so working on like the basics, but
Yeah.
I think it was hard because there was only one. It was the goalie coach as
Yeah.
a server, and that's it. Like it was just us two, so it was very hard to find like drills that one server could do.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was a very hard thing.
Yeah. For me, my season was definitely all over the place, I feel like. I definitely had a lot of highs and a lot of lows.
Yeah.
Like, this is a kid where, like, my lows are I get the absolute, like, worst mile time on the team. I fail the fitness test. Okay, Gunnar, your fitness sucks, whatever. Get that out of the way.
Yeah.
And I'm playing, I don't know. The first, like, couple weeks of the season was kind of like, okay, like, this is college soccer 101. Like, and it was like just building my confidence and knowing that I could do it.
Yeah.
And then eventually starting was kind of like, okay, I know I belong here. And I feel like like the difference between like when that moment where I was like, okay, like I'm a good college soccer player, like from then on, I'm a completely different player, person, everything from that to like where I was before that.
Yeah.
Because like just being confident in general, it's like that is the game. Like if you're confident, like and you truly believe you're better than someone at something, you're more likely to just beat them at something. And I feel like that's what happened with me in like throughout the season. Like I was able to make saves that no one else is supposed to make because I had the confidence and I didn't care. And I feel like that's like what you need as a goalie. That's what you need, not as just a goalie, but as a striker, and just as a human being in general. You just need to not learn. You gotta learn. I feel like to not care about literally anything, right. And you gotta learn to put yourself first, because if you don't do that, people are just gonna take advantage of you and step over you. And once I learned that, I feel like I was set. I feel like the season for me, especially as a freshman, I feel like I had a successful season. Like I was second in conference in saves, got Rookie of the Week, and like I was playing well. It was just I was playing well hurt. I had a sprained MCL, a strained groin. I ended up getting forearm spasms in my arm. So playing through that was extremely frustrating. And then playing on a team with a lot of injuries was extremely frustrating as well, because by playoff time, our first three strikers are hurt. George Cougs played on a pelvic fracture in our playoff game, and like just relying on guys that were hurt and then just not having certain guys during the season, you could definitely tell that we were missing a lot, because we were starting so many younger players.
I know.
So that was definitely frustrating for me, because it was like I was like, I'm a freshman, but like I want to win now. Like I don't care if we have next year with everybody back. Like I want to be conference champion now. I want to go for NCAA title right now. Like you shoot for the stars and you land on the clouds. Like that's like my number one belief, because like I feel like people just don't expect. We don't really expect that much from ourselves, so we never really grasp our true potential. But like the all-time greats like Messi, Ronaldo, like those guys have the most confidence in the world. They have the biggest aspirations in the world. And as long as you have those like big dreams, big goals in that confidence, I feel like you're giving yourself the chance to be the best at least, rather than someone that doesn't have that belief. And I feel like that's just like such a big mental thing in soccer that our team didn't have, mainly because
I think
it was younger. It was not like the team, but like younger guys.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I want to touch on that and then touch on my experience this season.
Mm-hmm.
I think being on the bench, I saw it a good amount, where we had a very like spread out ability, like team ability wise.
Yeah.
The high guys, they were like the good top few.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the guys were just like in the middle, like in that spectrum, and then there were like the guys who were just like not good enough and were kind of just bringing the team down.
Mm-hmm.
Whether that be not performing, I don't know. Again, I wasn't at practice majority of the time, but probably not performing in practice well enough, or not cheering on their teammates or saying anything on the bench.
Yeah,
doesn't have to be saying anything. You can just be like screaming on the bench.
Yeah, and I think the main thing is that's due to us just having a big freshman class and relying on that heavily for numbers, because just having a freshman class that's like more than a third of your team, like you're relying on inexperience.
Yeah.
And
you want those guys to get experience
Yeah.
quicker than they have. So
which it was like a good and a bad thing. Like my class was able to get a ton of experience,
yeah, for sure.
but it was just like it's gonna be hard and there's gonna be adversity when it like literally a third of it is freshmen just trying to figure out how to be a college
Yeah.
person, like how to like just live
Yeah.
and get through college. So I think that was definitely a hard part for like
Yeah.
the team as a whole.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, touching on my, not even so it's NT experience starting again in the spring. Again, very mentally for me all over the place. I was just not in a very good place mentally because of academics, soccer, whatever. And then we're in spring season at this point, so we're training. We play in a tournament, so
Yeah.
there were 3 like 60-minute games, basically back to back to back.
Mhm.
To be honest, and I was the only keeper, so I started all those games. So for me, I just put on myself like, just play, just play, have confidence, and I don't even think that the moment that switched for me was when I got 50-50, just not even crunch, 50-50. I think I crunched the guy. I hope I crunched the guy. But I was like, so I got hit and I was on the ground. I just popped it right back up, and that was when my confidence just flipped.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? This is my game. I didn't stay down for a reason. I got right back up.
Yeah.
So didn't get scored on any of those games. We won the tournament, which is big plus for me. Obviously it's a team sport, but I think for me that was a big like solidifier on like, okay, well, I'm better than I think I am, and I just need to show, even if it's not there right now, I need to just have that confidence. Basically, fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
For me.
Literally.
And then so and then looking back on the season, I think I can talk about this. But then going into summer, all I hear is this big, really good goalkeeper, and yes, that is you.
Yeah.
That got recruited by Cal.
Yeah.
And all I hear is him. Well, when I first hear it, he's at like we come to a spring practice, and that's all I hear. Like, I hear that he recruited you, you committed.
Yeah.
Whatever the case was, and that you were really good. You were better. You would have put pressure on Brody, who was the senior last year.
Yeah.
Which, that's a big theoretical. I don't know how that would have went. But Brody was amazing.
Yeah.
Brody was
That's
amazing,
also like,
to be honest,
a senior year of
He's
high
a
school
senior.
Gunnar versus a senior year
exactly.
a guy in
But he
college
was
pro.
a really good goalkeeper.
Yeah.
So, so I was nervous. Like, I was shook. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was shook just hearing that,
Yeah.
because that's all I heard for the summer, and I couldn't is a bad word to use, but it was very hard for me to get in the team workouts or like get touches on the ball at all.
When
'Cause I was
I
doing-
feel like they gave up on you.
No, not because of that. Because I was doing an internship, 40 hours a week.
Okay.
So, like, it was it was hard for me to do in the mornings because I slept bad. Like, I didn't go to sleep early enough. And then if I did it after, it was already dark outside. So it was hard to do it. And then I just had, like, no motivation at all to, like, lift or exercise at all, because I was even just sitting at a desk, I was exhausted. Like, mentally I was exhausted, which made me physically exhausted. So I didn't give enough of myself and my body, like, work. I didn't work on myself enough in the summer. So I think that did hinder me, and not, like, getting my hands on the ball, not playing a lot. Or, again, I didn't really play that much, to be honest. And then coming in, coach tells me I'm starting, and I'm like, let's go. Really starting my first collegiate game.
Yeah.
Because the last one I wouldn't really say was, like, my first start, even though it was, but whatever.
Yeah.
And then I have the best game I think I've ever had statistically.
Against MIT, right?
Yeah, against MIT. I had 10 saves, 8 of those coming in the first, like, 24 minutes, I think it was. got a shutout. We won 1-0, which was awesome. I did a lot of stuff right, I hope.
Mm-hmm.
I did some stuff wrong, which, just little goalie like details.
Yeah.
But I made one just terrible challenge. I came out to the 18 because I thought I forget who it was, but I thought one of our defenders was beat. But if I just like closed the space, he probably would have got there.
It was just like a dodgy clearance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I got beat to the ball, so I
Mhm.
came out because I thought I could get the ball. I got beat, and usually when they see a keeper coming out, they like in my mind, I think he's gonna try to chip me.
Yeah.
So what I do is I jump, thinking he's gonna chip it.
Yeah.
I jump, I clean him.
that was pretty bad.
Clean him. And then I got up and I see that it got put like back out in front of me. I get up and I keep going.
Yeah.
And then it gets held up, so I sprint back, and thank God someone, I don't know who it was. I don't know if it was who on our
I think someone cleared
shot
it.
it wide. No,
Oh,
they
yeah.
just shot it
Shot
like
it wide.
open. They just like skied it. And I'm like, thank God.
Yeah, that was a crazy moment.
And then I realized, and then again, Cal told me after, like, it should have been a red card. And I'm
Yeah.
like,
And it was right before the half too.
I think it was right before the half. Like, in the moment, I'm like, there's no way, because it's a 50-50. But
There's been so many times this year, though, where, like, I remember that was, like, literally less than a minute and a half.
Yeah.
There's been so many times this year where, like, I'm in goal,
Fall asleep.
and then it's, like, less than a minute left, and then, like, I'm having to, like, make, like, a huge save
I
with,
know,
like, less
guys
than a
fall
minute
asleep,
left.
I know.
Like, where it's, like,
weird.
and, like, it's, like, in games where it's, like, the game's over,
Yeah.
too. And, like, even, like, our playoff game, like, 2 goals scored in the last minute. Like, I feel like that just kind of, like,
Yeah.
shows anything could happen. And,
Yeah.
like, you just
No, you're
have to,
right.
like, grind it out.
Yeah.
But that was definitely just one of those, like,
Yeah.
just crazy
I
last
know.
minute
No, you're
things.
right. Sorry, and just to touch on a little bit more about
The
what I
scene.
was feeling.
Yeah.
So I'm like going into the second game, I'm riding that high. To be
Yeah.
honest, I rode it too much. I think as soon as the game ended, I give myself a day and I gotta be like, okay, next one.
Mm-hmm.
I went into the Norwich game, which was the second game, thinking like, okay, I just had a 10 save game. I'm gonna do that again. Like, I'm gonna have confidence. I will be good. I got complacent and we lost 3-0. I would say 2 of the goals were my fault.
Yeah.
First one, honestly, was a little like chip over my shoulder. I don't know if I could have got that, but I didn't try.
Yeah.
So
You
that
got
is
it.
my fault because I didn't even give myself a chance. Second one, it's kind of, I hate saying it. I hate saying that's my fault because I don't think conceding off a free kick is my fault because I didn't get the foul. But it was like basically straight to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I just like parried it right back out to the guy. I didn't get up quick enough, and then he just scored. It was like right in front of the net. He scored. And then the third one, we just got picked apart on like a 2v1, 2v2.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a give and go, and just slipped it in and scored. So my confidence went from like 100 to 0 in the span of like 4 days.
Yeah.
So that like very badly shook my confidence.
Yeah.
And then I talked to Coach, and he says that he was just having me start the first 2, you start the second 2. That's what he said to me.
Oh.
And then he said, depending on what was going to happen, he was just going to ride out with you if you played well enough or what,
Yeah.
whatever. And then you play well against Wheaton. Again, this result didn't show it. You played really well against Wheaton, though. And then
I don't even remember the game. After
yeah,
that.
and then I remember just, especially early. I think before NEC, which was the next time I played. Before then, I was just like, I was very frustrated.
Yeah.
And not playing. Like, I didn't touch a ball before NEC. Like, I didn't see the field in a game before NEC since getting demolished against Norwich.
Yeah.
So my confidence is not there. And then I hurt my ankle. I was stupidly like going. I went too hard into a challenge.
Yeah.
In pickup, and my foot got like rotated out. So I sprained my ankle. My ankle's still kind of whatever. But I was like on kind of a busted ankle, and I was livid because I'm like,
You got your chance and then you're hurt.
Yeah, exactly. And that was the game that he had you rest because you got hurt.
I was so mad that game too, dude.
Yeah.
I was so mad throughout the whole season because I had to play with a freaking. I had a knee brace. I had wrap all over.
I remember that, dude. You had your whole your whole left side at one point was just like cyborg.
Yeah, I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Like, I want to like give, like I was like,
I know.
I'm literally playing on like one side of my body right now. Like, just give me like my whole body and like I want to like give like just go all out. I want to be able to train hard, and like I wasn't able to do that throughout the season because I was hurt and like I was like barely like after every game I was like, I just need to go to bed. Like I'd be like crying in my bed, so sore, rolled around like this, and I was like, what? I'm so done. Like there's can't be anything else happening, and then something else would happen. Like I'd always get hurt.
That's another thing that, again, looking back on the season, I can definitely say this is like it frustrated me a lot, especially the second time you got hurt.
Yeah.
Coach not putting me in, or like even talking to me about it.
Yeah.
Personally, I think I should have been given a second chance because I don't think the NEC game, because he pulled me in and he was like, okay, you're gonna start.
Yeah.
Because you needed a rest, which is definitely true. And if you perform well, it would put pressure on me to like who to start for the rest. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, awesome, that's a great chance for me. But after the game, like going up to, like after that moment, I'm like, Coach, you're just buttering me up because you want me to, I assume, play decently.
Yeah.
That's kind of a low-key an empty promise.
Yeah.
Because even if I had the same, even if I got a shutout.
Yeah. Well, even if you
I didn't play well enough.
Yeah. But also, it's like that was a pretty bad team.
Yeah.
You're not really getting shots to even prove yourself in the first place. So.
I know. So yeah, exactly. I think I had 2 saves that game. Yeah. 2 or 3 saves that game. And I don't think, unless I made like 10, 15 saves and kept a clean sheet, like I wasn't honestly going to be given a fair shake for a second opportunity. So, yeah, I was just, before that, between you starting your first game and the NEC game, it was definitely that. I was very frustrated, like I said before, and I was just like not being supportive on the bench, and I knew it. Like I knew like people could sense that. I felt like my dad could feel it as well because he came to like every game, and he was like, "Just be a good teammate." Yeah. Honestly, at the end of the day, like, just be a good person. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, you're completely right. So I just started cheering on my guys, cheering on the team, tried to get guys involved.
Yeah.
I don't think I had that much respect, especially from the freshmen, because I wasn't playing. Mm-hmm. But just tried to do what I could.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Dude, but goalie is like, it's not like any other position because it's like either you're playing or you're not.
I know. It's not like it's.
And I feel like
so
as a goalie, if you're not playing, I feel like you get respect in so many different ways. Because I feel like you can still be making a bunch of saves in practice. Yeah. You could still have an effect and be a leader, I feel like, as like a backup goalie or a guy that's not playing as a goalie because like everybody's just not going to play. You could be a fantastic goalie. There's fantastic goalies all over in the Prem that are number 2 goalies.
Yeah, like Matt. I think Matt Turner is a great example of that. Yeah. Like he got MLS MVP or something. MLS
Goalkeeper of the Year, U.S. Men's National Team Goalie of the Year, and he's a number 2 to Arsenal. Yeah. And when they were playing England, the guy that was starting over Matt Turner at Arsenal was on the bench while Matt Turner was playing in the game.
It's I don't know. Yeah, it's crazy how keepers work. That's definitely where a big keeper is a very big individual position in a team sport. Yeah. Because like you said, it's you're playing or you're not. Mm-hmm. Unless you get hurt. Yeah. Or what's another?
Bad performance.
Bad minutes, garbage time.
Yeah.
Those are like the only 3 things. Maybe penalty shootout if the guy on the bench is for some reason a better penalty saver.
Well, it's also why I think the transition to college is a little different for goalies too, because most of the goalies that are going to play at the next level, they've never had competition throughout the whole youth level. Like high school, like I was recruited to play at my high school. Like I kind of knew I was going to start every game. Club, I started every single game. If there was another keeper, I'd still play every other game. Not every. It was either every other game or we split halves.
Yeah.
So like, there's not really any competition for keepers, and then, yeah.
Sorry, no, go ahead.
And then you get to college, and then I have 2 guys that are as consistent as me as wanting to go to training, wanting to start, wanting to play. 2 other guys that expected that they were going to be the number 1 or going to work up to number 1. And most college teams, that's 4 or 5 keepers that feel the same way.
Yeah.
And that's a huge adjustment from being in high school where you had literally no competition and you are the main man. You could let in 10 goals and be starting the next game, starting the rest of the season. In college, it's just not like that.
No, you're completely right. I think for me, so you had really not much competition in high school.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it was pretty much the complete opposite.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I remember freshman year, I had no competition because I was the only keeper that was still a freshman at my high school. Then sophomore year, it was me and one other kid who my coach made us
split time.
Basically split time, which we should not have because I wasn't a great keeper by any means on JV, but like I was better than him, so I should not have split time. Then junior year, I started on JV again, playing a lot of minutes. We didn't have a good team, so we lost a lot of games.
Yeah.
So the varsity coach was like, as a junior, he was just like, just come up to varsity. I was a 3rd string at that point behind 2 seniors, so never saw the field.
And then senior, you got your time to shine.
Senior year, I didn't get my time to shine as much as I would have because a kid so I was still after the fall, after the spring, I was still the only. I would still be the only senior next fall, but a kid. So my buddies at that point, like one of my friends was the captain.
Yeah.
Like he was a captain since a junior. Junior. So I like. But we're friends, so like I have to. At that point I don't know for soccer, if what he says is like true or not, or if he's just like busting my balls.
Yeah.
And just like poking at me, joking, whatever, because I had no competition.
Yeah.
But then he says, a kid from Hawaii is transferring, and I'm like, you're lying. Like that's a joke. That's a joke, right? He's like, no, he's coming to captain's practice. To the next captain's practice.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll believe it when I see it. Like I think he's joking with me.
Yeah.
No, I show up and there is a kid from Hawaii that transferred back to Massachusetts and was a goalie. And was also a senior.
Oh, he was a senior?
Yeah.
So do you guys split time?
We split halves,
right.
Which I was so pissed about.
Yeah.
Because I was supposed to because COVID screwed up the summer before because I was supposed to go to that would have been like a really good recruiting summer for me. Screwed me up so bad. I played half the time, not half the time I should have, but I didn't play as much time as I should have. And then, whatever, we weren't competing for anything.
And then just splitting halves your senior year it's just not fun.
And then what I think was nice is that like my coach let us pick who played which half. So like I just had to start because I thought it was cool to like get announced and everything.
Yeah.
As a starter, but other than that, it was like okay.
Then you have to watch the second halves.
Yeah.
So that's always really tough.
Yeah, exactly. What else?
I feel like we've talked a lot about the college stuff. Is there anything you want to touch up on, like with the past season? Anything to do with like college stuff or anything you have for me? Talk about that stuff.
No, I think we should move on to.
We can talk about the World Cup.
Yeah, let's talk about the World Cup let's talk about the World Cup.
All right. So I'm kind of a big Messi fan,
Yeah.
and I want them to win the World Cup a lot right now. I'm really happy with the way they played, especially since there's been so many upsets. And now that we're at the semifinals, I don't think anyone was ever going to say that Croatia and Morocco were going to make it to the Final Four.
I think Morocco especially was super overlooked. Like, I didn't even – I was taking them as a joke because, I mean, I know a couple guys like Bonu as their keeper and then Hakimi as their right back.
They have a couple good players.
Like, I think those are the only three
but
guys
it's like,
I know in Morocco. It's
to beat Spain and Portugal, no one.
I know. I think I don't know. I think at one point they had only one goal scored against them in the whole World Cup.
Yeah.
So far, that was I think that was the best, between any team. So that just shows any team can do anything.
Yeah.
In a World Cup.
I've been really impressed. Some guys I want to say that have been impressed with me this World Cup are obviously, I gotta say Messi.
Yeah.
He's been extremely clutch this World Cup. Croatia's goalie Livakovic.
Insane.
I think he's making a name for himself.
Don't know him, but I didn't know him before this World Cup.
Yeah.
But saved 2 penalties in their last game. 1 penalty.
I think he saved the penalty and
saved
then
the penalty, and then the game before he saved 3.
Yeah.
Made a name for himself in that game.
And then he's been making huge saves in the game.
Yeah, I know.
I think he's definitely going to be in talks to be as just one of the best goalies in the world for probably
Guys are going to be over
decades to come.
Yeah.
So
teams are going to be all over him this this spring transfer.
I think he's in the Croatian league.
Is he in the Croatian?
Yeah.
So he's going to get bought by a European club.
Definitely a big market move. And another thing that was weird is I don't think there's been that many huge goalie performances at the World Cup. A lot have been choking.
Really?
I feel like it's been between.
I disagree though. I think it's I think Szczesny.
Szczesny's been good.
Been insane.
Ochoa's been pretty good.
Yeah. Turner was okay.
Turner was good.
For what you could expect from the
Pickford's
US.
been good, but there's been teams where it's their goalies are just choking.
Yeah.
Mostly I'd say the teams that were that got out of the groups that did not get out of the group stage. I say their goalies were kind of choking.
Yeah.
And you're definitely seeing a lot. There's definitely a big gap with some countries and the level of talent, like a Qatar and an England. Those teams they should not be playing each other in the first place.
Yeah. So true.
And then another thing, I feel each team, England, the European teams, the reason they're so good is because they're forced to play each other all the time.
Yeah.
U.S., we're playing Mexico and Canada. Those are the
maybe Argentina.
Yeah, maybe Argentina 2024 with the Copa.
Yeah.
But we're playing Mexico and Canada.
And you're playing very bad
Yeah. We're never gonna get better from that. So
playing bad Central American teams, Caribbean teams.
And that's something that definitely ties into anything, honestly, because you could put I feel if you put a JV kid, you could put him with the Barcelona Youth Academy, and he could probably become a professional because
because you're just around that.
You're around people who are so much better than
Yeah.
you, and that your body is forced to adapt to that.
Yeah.
So I feel a big thing on our team. I feel there's a lot of guys that are they are way better than if they were gonna be if they weren't at our school, because I feel our school. In our program, you're forced to work hard, and you're forced to work for the team first. So guys are becoming, one, more selfless and playing for the team, and then two, they're getting those core values, and it's just making I feel all of us way better.
Yeah.
I feel it
right.
just forces you to be better, especially the jump to imagine if you're playing at a USL 2 league in the summer, or you're playing in the USL itself or MLS You just I feel if you put yourself in any higher level environment, you are just going to grow exponentially.
Yeah, that's one thing I've always kind of thought is if you just throw yourself into somewhere you don't belong and basically into the fire.
Yeah.
Or just do things that are way harder than they should than they would be for higher level athletes or players at that position. You will just develop develop the tolerance to that quicker.
Because all these guys are here, and then you're forced to literally just go
if
up
you
a
go
level.
to if you were to go to a U.S. national team goalie training, those guys will be pinging balls hundreds of balls per session, and not slow. They will be quick. Mm-hmm. So the difference between D3 and then the national team
It's huge.
is a lot.
Yeah.
So like the first, maybe like a lot of sessions, you will struggle to like any of us.
Yeah.
Will like struggle to start with, like in the beginning, but then like you realize like okay, you will learn how to catch a ball coming that quick. It might not be tomorrow, it might not be
a week from now, but
it might not be
it will
a year
happen.
from now, to
Yeah.
be honest. But like you will learn how to do that eventually.
Which is why I feel like it's important. I feel like U.S. youth soccer kind of sucks with this.
Yeah, let's talk about the U.S.
Like the MLS Next academies. Yeah, I feel like it's so hard to develop young talent because there's not enough academies and it's so far spread out that you have some very talented kids kind of stuck at a lower level. So they're never experiencing that MLS Next like top academy level. So they're never really even forced to get better. So like they'll never even have the opportunity.
Yeah, I think with the youth academy or youth soccer development, I think it has to stop being paid to play.
Yeah.
Because you're getting guys that can't play because they don't have the funds or the finances for that.
Yeah.
Who are most likely better than like 80% of the kids that are in like MLS Next. They just can't play because they can't afford it.
Yeah, and I feel like it mostly starts younger because that's where you're developing the most.
Yeah.
And like usually like the older guys, like it's so hard to get to the next level because it's like you're already you are like so far behind already.
Guys at like 16 are playing professionally.
Yeah.
Guys, if you're like 18 and you're like not as developed as you should, you're not that you can't make it because you have guys like Nuppert from on the Netherlands who's 28.
Yeah.
That didn't play for the national team or like didn't start for the national team, I think, since before the World Cup. So like there's that story that's crazy. And then his backup is 38. Also didn't ever get called up for the national team until this year. Finally broke into the Ajax first team.
Or like even Jamie Vardy.
Yeah,
Jamie Vardy
28,
didn't start playing like
27.
27. Like actually like pro till like 27.
Yeah, he played like
like the not even like semi-pro basically.
Yeah, he played exactly. He played semi-pro. Yeah, he played non-league. Yeah, that's what it was. Played like 5th or 6th tier.
Yeah.
So
he was a factory worker too.
Yeah. And then breaking into Leicester City.
Yeah. It's a slower grind because
yeah.
When you're starting at when you're not starting at the highest level at that age, you are working your way up from a lower level with less opportunities. So those opportunities, they come over time.
Yeah.
And like you're taking like smaller jumps like over time rather than like those big jumps that like the super elite players are taking when they're 18, 19, 20. Like you have guys that are literally like a lot of the U.S. national team guys, there's so many guys where it's like they don't really start playing pro in the MLS till like they're 25, 26 until they're done with college. Like I feel it's really hard to like see it in between from like you're either playing pro right away or you are going to be grinding.
You're playing when you're in like your mid-20s.
Yeah.
Like early, like late 20s.
Yeah, late 20s, early 30s.
Yeah.
Which is, I feel like something that definitely could be prevented by making U.S. youth soccer closer and like you don't have to drive 40 minutes to an hour to practice every day. More affordable for the kids that can't afford it. And by creating more competition, by creating more like elite teams at a lower rate, you're going to be creating more competition, which is going to just force everybody to get better.
I think, honestly, I don't even think you have to have more elite teams. I think just making it more accessible will make those elite teams.
Yeah.
Just having more teams. I think just having more teams that are accessible and more, like, you can afford it.
Yeah.
Will make them accessible, get more kids to sign up, more competition.
Yeah, and U.S. soccer would just grow exponentially because you're having those kids all like you could probably you'd be able to make a national team for like the East Coast, West Coast, and like Central, because like you'd be getting so much more talent with more players because that's forcing the level to just go up by itself because when there's more players, it's going to be more competition. Yeah. There's more people you need to beat out.
Right.
And that creates just a better national team, but also just is it creates equitable
Yeah.
youth sports for underprivileged kids, where sports is just, it's a game. It's something that we use to have fun, and just making it like more available to underprivileged kids. That's just how society should be.
Yeah.
Like, we should be able to give kids when they're young those opportunities,
Exactly.
rather than
I agree.
them having to grind even more to get
Yeah.
those later.
You're right.
So, is there anything? I feel like we've been through a lot.
We've been through a lot for sure. Yeah, I think that's a good place to wrap up.
Yeah, definitely
Yeah,
could be doing this again in the future.
definitely.
Yeah,
For sure.
awesome.
Thanks for coming out.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you guys for whoever's watching this.
Yeah.
If you're watching it live, I highly doubt anyone's watching it live right now, but thank you.
Yeah.
If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you. You guys are awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Tommy's going to be banging out a bunch of more content soon.
Yep.
Awesome.
See everyone. Thanks
Peace.
for coming.